Today I feel really good, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, what we need is a podcast like guru. We need a podcast like mentor, a podcast like big buddy. You know what I'm saying? We need to get jumped in by another podcast from a podcast posse, right? And then it's like we'll be like an MMG kind of thing. Like he'll be, you know what I'm saying, like boss, under bosses, you know what I'm saying, becoming bosses. So today I'm so excited, and podcast is a small part of what this guy does on the daily, but I'll start there because it's what we need the most. So we appreciate you being here. Today we have Joh Morrison. And
Woo! Thank you so much for that. Halfway in between, and I was like, "Is he talking about me?"
Surprise, man! Surprise.
You're like,
"Oh shit!" I was like, "You said you might have saw the light bulb come on." I was like, "That's my intro." Okay, thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
So, one, we started this endeavor like during COVID. It was just a way for us to link up as a crew, just to like have a drink and talk shit. And like, it's funny. Like, I listened to your first serious rap shit podcast, and you guys had talked about how you had recorded it, maybe I think 2, but that wasn't the first one. So it kind of gave me some validation because we had recorded a couple that we were like, we got to use all this shit. And it's like, we can't use all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so that gave it, I was like, we're on the right path, and this is our teacher, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is our guide. Yeah, I mean, he's been through, you know what I'm saying? He's been through it. So we appreciate you for being here, man. Just so you know, everybody that's on this, obviously, there's Yaya, who is in the corner with the colorful camo, and then there's Mike, who you met earlier, who is on a quest to like just to gain culture and like, you know what I mean, fill it up with you, you know what I mean? And I think we're helping him do that. You know what I mean? He's just on this constant journey, and I think you're the perfect person to help him. Like, you know, you can put him on with some music. You can, you know what I'm saying? He definitely should. You know what I mean? When he heard the name of your podcast, he got excited because he's like a boom bap rap kind of guy. So and I don't do that just to be, you know, like that's the stuff. So Mike's excited to be here, and Eric Boss, you know, of course,
what up, man?
Directly back from Mexico, where he released a bunch of music. Apparently, I mean, he's actually like a music label owner. So, geez, he goes away to drop music, and I think that's impressive. What's up, Eric?
What up? Thanks.
How's your quarantine back going?
It's going. I'm making a lot of music, made a lot of beats this week.
Just you, Ernie, and Bert. I see. That's what's up, man. Well,
yeah. You know.
I got a pang. I'm not at all a jealous person, but when you said you've been making a lot of music, I got a pang of emotion because I haven't been able to. I've been in lockdown, but I haven't been able to make beats like I want to, and it's like it's slowly killing me inside. I don't like it at all.
I hear that.
Well, it's funny. That's something that we talked about like throughout like all the past previous ones we've done with a variety of different artists, from, you know, musicians to painters or what have you, and it was like a back and forth kind of thing. Like some people are super productive, like Eric Boss, fuck you. And then some people like, you know what I mean, like me that weren't, and that like hated people like Eric Boss. So you couldn't work because you just weren't in the mood?
No.
Ahead of time?
So before COVID, a lot of my workload was balanced between DJing and writing. I'm a music journalist. I've been a music journalist since senior year of high school. So that's like, you know, what I do on a day to day. But now, you know, I can't spend anywhere. So the majority of my focus has been shifted over to writing, and legit my days have been like get up, research, write pieces, edit pieces, pitch pieces, go back to sleep. And I've been on that train hardcore since the COVID thing. I was on it. I was on pace to break my like personal record for pieces published in a year before COVID. And now that number might double. You know what I mean? So I've been just like writing like a madman, and it's really, honestly, I haven't carved out the time to make beats. That's really what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I work for myself. I could say to myself, all right, I'm not going to do, you know, whatever project I'm working on or whatever piece I'm writing, and I'll take 4 hours to sit and chop up samples and make beats. I could do that. Like, there's nobody, you know, telling me not to, but I just haven't. I've just been in like hardcore writer mode. I think part of my mind, I'm a little paranoid that I'm gonna like run out of money. You know what I mean? Which hasn't happened, but I think that I've been hitting the writing so hard because it's kind of like, you know, the story of like the ant that has to like save up, you know, food for the winter and the, you know, whatever. I'm naturally a grasshopper, but quarantine has like made me into an ant, and I've been like writing and trying to make as much money as possible, and I just haven't carved out the time to make beats. So it's not really that I don't feel inspiration. I just haven't given myself the space, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. And so we do a segment. It's called Over a Drink, and Mike hosts it. So I'm gonna give it to Mike.
So prior to quarantine and everything, I was doing this interview series called Over a Drink, where I sit and I rap with people. You know what I mean? We pour a drink and we talk till the drink is gone. We've incorporated into this because we're not getting in the same room anymore as much as we used to. Mm-hmm. And I usually try to get to know the artists before and make a drink that relates to them. Honestly, today I was chasing rain all day. I didn't get a chance to spend as much time with your work as I would have liked to.
Yeah.
So that being said, man, I got a little tequila that I brought upstairs.
Okay.
This is what we're gonna do. What I'm gonna be drinking today is this tequila here. What is this called? Don Abraham. Would you know that one, Yaya?
What is it?
Don Abraham Organic. I bought this by accident, right?
I've never heard that.
But check it out, right? I bought this accidentally. I was down in Delaware. I picked it up off the shelf, thinking it was $45. Got to the counter and it was $100.
Nice.
Oh, snap.
It's good in the
Where's that made?
Let me tell you, it's super good, but I don't know where the hell it's made, man.
It doesn't say on the bottle.
It's Mexico. Ain't all tequila from Mexico?
I'm saying where in Mexico. You know?
What type is it though?
Brooklyn, Mexico. I don't fucking know. What part of Mexico is it? How many parts of Mexico?
No. I mean, like, what type of
the border of Mexico?
What type of tequila is it?
It's the dark one. Extra año. Extra año. So that being said, John, because you're a journalist and because you're a rapper and because you into that boom bap shit, and then what I did hear on your podcast is how you was talking about how you ain't really mess with the party music and all that stuff, like you was into the lyrics and all that. You sound like we cut from a similar cloth, so I pulled out the good tequila to toast to you, brother. And this is what we're going to do, man. I'm going to throw a little ice in this cup, and I'm going to pour a little tequila in here, and I'm going to put a little bit of this Pellegrino. What do we got here? This Clementine Peach Pellegrino on top of that, just to cut it a little bit, just because, you know, like I said last week, I am a dad, and my kids are downstairs, and I try to cover up the smell of alcohol on my breath after these shows, even though they didn't told all our family members that I just do this show to have a reason to have a drink in the middle of the day after work. That's the rumor around my family. Dad goes in his room and gets on Zoom just to have a drink in the middle of the day. So that being said, man, That's how I do it, man. So we pour the drink and then we rap, man. And really just, I like to throw a question out because I don't know all your work. And I don't know if I'm the only person who don't know or if there's others, but just give us a quick brief overview, man, of who you are, how you got in the game and what it is you do, man. Okay.
I'm from Philadelphia, born and raised, grew up in Uptown, West Oak Lane. I kind of got into music. Well, I don't want to say kind of. I definitely got into music because my older brother was a beat maker, right? So this is like 86, 87. I legit grew up seeing my older brother with like the 808s and the 909s, watching him go through records, sample, chop up records, make beats and everything. And I started off pretty young as an MC, probably around 9-10 years old. I ain't gonna date myself exactly. You know what I mean? But we're talking early 90s. And I was a little kid and I was really about, you know, writing rhymes every day, battling. I was like crazy battling from like age 10 well into my 20s. And that was really, and the actually making like beats and stuff came from that as well. My older brother saw that I was, you know, into like running up on kids and like battling and like freestyling all the time. And he was like, yo, you should learn to make beats because then you'll be like a double threat. You know what I mean? Like Diamond D, Lord Finesse, Pete Rock, all of those guys. He was like, do that. Eric Sermon. My brother's like crazy about EPMD and Eric Sermon. And he was like, yo, if you learn to make beats and you rap, then, you know, you can like write your own ticket. So very young, I was like collecting records, chopping up samples, and really just like getting into the craft of this shit as far as hip hop. And probably when I was a senior in high school was when I got into music journalism because I was like obsessed with music and always thinking about music. And that was really when I made some, I could tell that story too, how I like actually got into writing about music, but it's something that I've done since I was a kid. And now it's day to day, it's really my job. You know what I mean? It's like, it's what I do. And coming out of sample culture, my taste in music has always been really broad. So I write a lot about hip hop, but I also write historical pieces on jazz and the blues, and like this whole historical continuum of black music is really what I'm interested in. And it's day to day. It's legit. Like I'll wake up and be like going through records. Like I'm working on a piece now on the album that Fela Kuti and Roy Ayers recorded in Nigeria in 1980. And that was legit like me going through records and being like, oh, this was dope. What's the history of this? So I, you know, came up with a pitch, and a publication said, yeah, we'll pay you money to write about that. And I emailed Roy Ayers' daughter, and she was like, yeah, we'll talk to you about that. So, I'm, you know what I mean? Like, just that's just like my day, just thinking about music and coming up with ideas and stuff that people might want to read about or watch or whatever.
Amazing. All right, so what was when you started writing? Actually, that's not the question. The question: what are some of the publications, I guess, where your writings can be found?
Right now, I do a lot of stuff for NPR. Literally, right before I got on this call with y'all, I was on a call with NPR. Every week, I'm on their show, All Songs Considered. And we just sit around and talk about like whatever new music came out that week. So I do a lot of work for NPR. Locally, I do a lot of work for WXPN, Bandcamp, lots of fucking OK Player. You know what I mean? Like I'm like a hired gun. So I'm like, I write everywhere. You know what I mean? I've written for Jazz Right Now. I've had my work translated into Japanese for Jazz Tokyo. You know what I mean? It's like really whoever will like hire me, and you know what I mean? Like,
go.
You know what I'm saying? And if it's something that I'm interested in and I want to write about, I'll do it.
How does it feel, man, to be that guy that puts black music into all those places, man?
I feel like when I was younger, I didn't like I grew up in this, you know what I mean, like culturally, so I always had respect for it, but as I get older, my respect for it grows even more. And I feel like our identities, like our race, gender, sexual orientation, economic class, all of that stuff informs how we view the world. And I write about black music from the perspective of a black person. Frankly, in media now, a lot of the people who comment on black people or black music are not black folks and didn't grow up in black culture. So there's like a disconnect. You know what I mean? Like I read some of this shit that like they get like white hipsters to write about hip hop. You know what I mean? And I read some of this shit and you can feel the cultural disconnect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I write about other people's music, you know what I mean? Like, but I primarily comment from the stuff that I'm comfortable with and like the cultural context that I come out of. So it's something that I take really seriously. I try not to put no like bullshit in the world and put like sincere celebration of our culture, even beyond like critique. You know what I mean? Like really digging into the genius of black music and black culture and trying to celebrate it. That's like the thing for me. You know what I mean? So it's like a blessing. Like I get to do it at my own pace. You know what I mean? People pay me for it. I have like zero complaints about it.
Well, cheers to you, man, because I really appreciate what you do, man. I appreciate the lane that you're in, man. Like, that's a dope lane. And the fact that you've been able to make it work, man, and find your space to where you can bring the sound and the energy of the culture to the masses like that in an NPR and an XPN in a world where they recognize us, but it wasn't a lot of space for us. You know what I'm saying? I think it's pretty dope, man. So
yeah.
Celebrate you today, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Lastly, before I toss it back to Dane, your 3-car Monty story, man, waking up on the bus. Was that you or was that your partner?
No, that was me.
Dude, I got a 3-car Monty story too, man. I don't know if everybody has one.
Yeah.
But I was the sucker who got beat for a couple of hours in the 3-car Monty game, man.
Oh,
I was 13 though. I walked right into it. Young boy, I walked right into it. What are you going to do, man?
The woman I was talking about in that story was definitely in her 30s. And for the folks on the call who haven't listened to that episode, Josh and I on our podcast, Serious Rap Shit, we were talking about scams and like scamming shit we've seen, on the street happen. And that blossomed into a broader conversation about America itself being a scam. But I was talking about being on the back of the bus and waking up in like the 3-card game and seeing it go down, and a woman on the back of the bus, she had scrubs on, she was coming from work, and I watched her lose like $300 on the back of the 23 bus, and she was in her 30s, and I'm like, sis,
going to Germantown or coming from Germantown?
Coming from Germantown.
Yeah, that's the
problem. Me, I was 13, man, and I lost $30, man. That might have been the last time I gambled, dude. That might have been the best lesson I ever learned, man. Like, listen, man, y'all ain't getting my money no more, man.
Yeah, I don't have the gambling gene. I'm too scared to lose money. I don't got that.
It's too hard to come by, man. I'm not trying to give it up on a guessing game.
Right.
All right, Dane, back to you, Dane.
So, thank you.
Great throwback. I love it.
That was an awesome toss back, Mike. We would have never known that you worked for a major news corporation. So I just want to say that. Earlier you talked about even like, you've been so like head on into like writing. You do so many different things. Is it like one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm writing now and this is where I'm focused on, so everything else is like kind of pushed to the side? Or like, oh, I'm producing now and everything else. Is it that kind of thing, or just?
I try to I try to be like a real adult with my work, you know what I mean? Because it's not naturally in me. You know what I mean? So I try to compartmentalize. That's probably one of the reasons why I haven't, produced much music during the quarantine, because I've been really focused on writing. But it's day to day stuff. It's like an adventure. You know what I mean? Like I might write from 8 in the morning until noon. And then, my partner and I, Josh, who works on the show Serious Rap Shit, we're working on a documentary on hip hop in India. So I might take like a few, hours to do all documentary stuff. And then I might have to do a call in the late afternoon. So, I try to honor my work, but then honor my lack of focus and my lack of attention span, and try to like really, block shit off. You know what I mean? So it's like when I'm writing. A lot of times when I'm writing and researching, I'm on social media. I'm like, talking with people. So I'm trying to get better at that. But it is definitely, I try to make sure a task is a task, and that time is the time for that specific task.
Cool. Well, speaking of task and time, it's time for Yaya's list. You like that? See, I've been working on my being in the moment, but still having like a little some a little ring to it. So, Yaya, take it away.
Thank you. John, thank you so much for sharing. I feel like I've seen you out spinning, but really to kind of hear some of what made you and who you are today sitting in front of us. It's really insightful and really important. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Now it's time for Yaya's list. So every week on Yaya's list, every time I do a Yaya's list, I really try to focus on local artists creating here in the city that are selling works that we can actually afford. I don't want people to go to Home Goods or IKEA and buy a print when there is someone inevitably right in your backyard who is selling work that you can afford. Everyone I feature, I have their work featured in my home, and just to kind of put the proof in the pudding that you actually can decorate your home by supporting local artists. Today, we have Keturah joining us, and we're going to chat with her a little bit about what she's been up to and what she's working on now. There you go.
Got you.
Welcome. You may or may not know everyone here. This is the Tiny Room for Elephants crew here. You know myself and Dama, of course. We've got Jason, we've got Mike and Eric Boss, and our honorary team member for the day, Joh Morrison, hanging out with us in our happy hour. So we're really excited to kind of chat with you about what you've been up to and all that good stuff. But before we get started and I start kind of showing some of my favorite stuff from your portfolio, tell us about you. Who are you? How do we know you?
Well, okay, so my name is Keturah Benson. I'm originally from Prince George's County, Maryland. My family is from Liberia, West Africa, so I have a lot of that culture going on. But I've been in Philly for the last 10 years. I went to school out here. I attended the University of the Arts, and I graduated some time ago, and after I graduated, I just decided to stay. Because at that point, Philly was like what I had just consumed. It became who I was. So I stayed here and I decided to find work here. I studied textiles in school, but I've always been kind of like a multidisciplinary kind of artist. I like to work with anything I can get my hands on. So a lot of people know me just for working in mixed media, but I've done set design, I've done production, sound, lighting design, all kinds of stuff. So I like to get my hands in a little bit of everything, but my background is definitely in visual arts, and that's my home. I always go back to my visual art stuff. So yeah, I don't know what else to say.
That's fantastic. I think that's one of the things that really makes me gravitate towards your art is the way that you use different fabrics throughout your artwork. We're going to go on a little trip down memory lane here. I'm going to share my screen. So I own this piece, which I am super proud and excited to say. This is Grace Jones. What's really interesting about Keturah is she really shares her process with you online. So I felt like I was a part of this piece through watching you from the sketch, through adding everything on that I had to have it. But if you could walk us through just the inspiration for this Grace Jones. She's so powerful.
Yeah, so, okay. For me, I actually saw Grace Jones live a few years ago when she performed at Afropunk in Brooklyn. Oh, wow. And that I was just instantly obsessed. I had heard of her before and seen her in the movies back in the day, but you know, it missed me just by a few years. I wasn't really like into Grace Jones. So when I saw her live, I got to experience her power, like, you know, up close, and it was incredible. But I still kind of was just like, okay, cool. And then it wasn't until someone pointed out that we actually have the same birthday that I was like, that's why I'm so connected to this woman. Of course she's Taurus. Come on, Yaya. You know now, we real recognize real. So she is not only she of Taurus, but she shares the same birthday with myself and Malcolm X. So it's just all around power going on May 19th. So I just was drawn to her, and her style, her fashion. I feel like I look at her and I go, yeah, she gets it. Like, this is just, she gets it. So this piece in particular was inspired by, you can't really see it in the photo. You can, if you look in the lower, I guess, right-hand corner, you can kind of see the background color is like a green, but in person, it's a little bit lighter. It's inspired by that color. I was walking somewhere downtown one day, and I can't even remember where I was at, but I saw this green, and I was like, I'm gonna do a painting one day with that green. I had no idea what it was gonna be. I just knew that was gonna be my kickoff. So boom, quarantine hits. For me, it hit in March, early March. And I was home. The first 2 weeks, I was not inspired to create anything. I slept for 2 weeks. I just slept. Wow. And I wasn't compelled to start anything, no businesses, nothing. I just wanted to sleep because I felt like I hadn't slept in the last few months prior to that. So one day, I guess after my hibernation, I woke up and I was like, I should paint. Like, it was literally just like, it was that simple. I was like, I should paint. And I have you can only see a part of my studio, but in here I have so much just canvas and just different material and stuff. And it's just always here. And so anytime I, want to feel inspired, I sometimes just sit in this space. And so I went and got my canvas, and I was like, I want to paint something, but I don't really want to have to think too much. Like, I want this to be kind of a creative release. So maybe I'm gonna do a portrait, because portraits are easy. You're looking at something, you're painting it. It's real easy. And so I was like, who should I paint? Oh, Grace Jones. I kind of started painting her last year in a series, but I was like, I want to do a more detailed portrait of her. And the canvas, the original piece is 24 by 36. And so it's really big. And it was just something I could do, while I was in quarantine. So I started, I found an image online that I really, really liked. And I didn't decide to do the fabric until the end. So for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you can see me like in my story, like there's this one particular clip. I'm walking through my little narrow hallway, and I have like a bag of fabric. One of them, there's just one place in my fabric is in this bag. And I look in there and I was like, maybe I should do fabric on it. And I swear, I'm recording it on my story, and I'm picking the fabric as I'm recording it on my story. And so for those who were just watching my story that day, they got to see me pick the fabric. But it wasn't that heavily premeditated. The only thing I knew that I was going to do for sure was the portrait of her. But I thought I was going to paint the whole thing. I didn't know I was going to add fabric to that.
So I feel like this Grace Jones has I feel like since COVID, you've been doing these sort of portrait series, right? I feel like you have Grace Jones. I pulled up another one, which I thought was absolutely, just don't pay attention to whatever that says. Sorry.
Oh, nifty.
This one is amazing too. I just wanted to really highlight that you've kind of been grinding, you kind of been going through these portraits throughout COVID, which I really and just really wanted to highlight all the hard work that you're doing, but also kind of take a look back. You know, I kind of go back through and pick favorite things, and I really love how you work with your editing and your overlays and your photography. And I know this is from a while back, but I just feel like this is just highlighting as you kind of talk about all these different sides of you and the mediums that you use to express yourself. I think like this particular series that you did, this is a piece of a whole series, was really amazing. And I'm hoping you can kind of walk us through some of the inspiration for this stuff.
Yeah, so this was really, 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 really fun. Like, I have to put emphasis on how much fun doing the shoot was. I was living in South Philly at the time, and I had it's important because I had a really, really big studio, because I would just take over the entire like living space. At the time I had like 2 roommates, and they were creatives as well. And so they would just walk past me. Like, they didn't really ask any questions. This particular day, a graphic designer by the name of Tyler Kidd, she hit me up and she was just like, yo, you know, you have like the backdrop set up in your studio, and I had all the fabrics and stuff. She was like, are you trying to like collab on a shoot? And I was like, yeah, like there's no reason to say no. I was like, sure. And I know, just being in the, you know, Philadelphia area and on the different scenes, you meet so many different creative people. I did like a mini casting call for like all my like model friends to come over and I said, look, you have to be comfortable modeling nude, because this was like the vision. She wanted to kind of, the graphic designer, she wanted to take the images and kind of cut them up and do like a collage kind of thing. And so originally I was just supposed to shoot this, like, so, but what happened was she took her time with editing, doing her edits. And I was just looking at these, man, I want to like kind of do my own thing. Like, and I asked her, I was like, look, would you be okay with me kind of like editing these myself? I mean, you can do what you're going to do, but I have a vision for some of these. And she was like, yeah, girl, that's your work. You do whatever you want. And I'm like, all right now. And so I before she released hers. And you know, you just want to be respectful to other artists. And so I asked her, I was like, look, is it okay if I put these on Instagram? Like, they're fucking fire. Like, I have to like get this out of my system. She was like, yeah, no problem. And like, I had like at least, I want to say 12, or I think it was at least 12 people or so there. And it was the whole piece, it was called the Self-Love Project. So it was about, you know, honoring different body images, skin tones. So we had, you know, I think there was only one guy that ended up showing up. Men aren't always as comfortable being nude, you know, like women sometimes. It's just in my experiences. So we had mostly women, and there was one guy, and he was so nervous to get naked in front of all these women. I was like, look, bro, it's cool. Nobody's gonna like look at you like some pics, man. And so the women were just like, let's show our titties. And I'm like, yeah. Like, it was so much fun. I had wine. I like to get people drunk. So I had wine. I had like food. You know, we were, you know, passing lovely things around. It was a great time.
Oh, I can feel that from this series. Now, finally, before I let you go, I was going through looking at your website with my son, and he wanted to know more information about one particular thing, and it was that. Oh, he was like, what is that? I said, I don't know. I'm going to ask her.
So, this piece actually is crazy because it goes all the way back to me being like 5 years old. So, true story. I was in church, and there was this lady who sang. She was a soprano. She sang in the choir. Her name, ironically enough, her name was Dottie, right? And Dottie she had neurofibromatosis. At the time, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what it was called, but I just always remember when she would sing, I thought she had the most beautiful skin. And it was just because she had they were covered in these large dots that I would call them dots. And then it was just cool that her name was Dottie. And I would chuckle sometimes, but like, so I just had that story. So fast forward, my junior year at UArts, you know, I was getting into like, I was doing a lot of wearable art. So a lot of sculpture for the body, and like everybody in my concentration kind of knew my work to be like, you know, wearable art kind of stuff. And so I don't know what the assignment was, but I just know my response to it was playing around with this texture and putting it on clothing. Wow. And like creating gestures with texture. So I used insulating foam, ironically enough. I had went to the hardware store. I would just go supply shopping in the area. I used to live on 15th and Pine. So I would go to Rittenhouse Hardware and just be like, yo, what's not going to kill me if I use it in my studio? And they'd be like, you can look at this stuff. And so like I remembered Dottie, and I was like, certainly this has to be called something. What is this disorder? I don't know if to call it, if it's a disorder or what. And so I did my research and I found out it was called neurofibromatosis. And it's most common over in like places like India and stuff, but it can be anywhere from like small little, you know, tumor like bumps on your face to like large, heavy ones. And they look super painful, but apparently they're not, according to, you know, all the stuff that I read up on. And I just looked at it as like something that was just like, you know, it made a commentary on like the futility of the body, you know, how we put so much emphasis on, you know, our outward appearance and how it's beautiful, but it's also decaying. So I used like the black and the gold to kind of like symbolize that. That was back when I was in college. I used to like think a lot. Like I used to have to make deep ass statements and shit, you know, going to school with like pretentious art school kids. You got to be like, yeah, I read 3 books and like, this is why I chose gold. Like, I just like gold.
I love it. Does anybody else from the crew have any questions for Keturah?
On that first Grace Jones piece, I'm a Grace Jones fan.
Okay.
So the fact that, and I'm looking at it and I was wondering if that was fabric. So I think this piece is beautiful. And I know it was just like a COVID, I ain't got shit else to do, so I'm just gonna throw this together. But that's you did a great work on that piece. I just wanted to compliment you on it, man. And thank you for celebrating Grace Jones.
Keturah, you could actually tell Mike like where he can purchase this and tell everybody else where they can
ask
find
that next.
Your work.
Find your work.
Because if there's one person that needs art, it's Mike.
It's Mike.
Easy,
right?
Dave. Like, why always got to be the guy we take shots at, Dave?
On here and he's got his daughter. His daughter's damn near grown. He's got her like 6-year-old painting in the background.
Nah, I got a different one today. This is a different one. That's a different one today.
Which one is that one?
Give Mike some art, man.
Where'd you get that one from?
This is actually an official artist, dude. I forget his name.
An official artist.
Yeah.
See,
I forget his name though.
See that language? That's not good language, Mike.
It's probably signed on the back, but like I did a story on that guy. I was gonna bring my youngest daughter's art upstairs, but I forgot. I might go get it in the intermission.
Tell him where he can find you.
So you can find me. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram. My art page for like just the post about the paintings and to strictly ask me about how you can purchase things. That is Yes Keturah Work. That's YesKeturahWerk. And then my personal Instagram is Yes Keturah. Now, warnings. I do post a lot more on the Yes Keturah page, but you're not just gonna get art. You're gonna get Keturah on the Yes Keturah page, and that includes other things. But that's the one that's the one you want. All right, follow me on Yes Keturah. You'll get the updates. But as far as purchasing the work, so I actually just recently updated my website. I haven't dropped the live link yet. That's why I haven't really talked about it. But by the time this comes out, it'll be out. Basically, you can go on my website and also you can purchase. I know the Andre 3000 piece. I don't know if you can see it behind me. It's over here in the corner. That's on there. Grace Jones is on there as well. But you also can just hit me up directly. I'm in Philly. I can get it to you. But I'm making it live on the website for everyone. It'll be out by the end of next week.
Mike, you got no excuses, Mike. You got no excuses.
I can get it to you, Mike. However, just send me your address. I can get it to you. Hey. I can get it in the mail tomorrow.
Hey, damn, stop putting so much pressure on me, man.
It's not pressure, man.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, Keturah, nice work, man. You do
Thank
great
you.
work, Keturah. They're beautiful. All of them were beautiful. There's just that one with the extra fabric, and you talked about it, but it jumped out. I was like,
Mike, there's only one. Mike, there's only one left, so make your move, bro. There's one left.
I gotta get something different for what Yaya got, and then I look like I'm biting her style.
Hey,
Listen,
she's got plenty.
the Hustle prints, those are new. Only one person has that right now. One print is out right now.
Exclusive.
And I'm
Thank you so much for joining us.
Who's that?
I have
Who's
Nipsey
that?
on camera.
Let us, yeah, Keturah. I'm sorry, I'm not buying Nipsey. Not buying Nipsey.
Damn.
Not that I got anything.
Now I got questions.
Listen,
Now
I
got questions.
I got nothing against Nipsey. I'm just an old man. I turned 49 last week. I can't put Nipsey on my wall. Grace Jones I can put on my wall. Nipsey I can't put on my wall. He makes good music. I'm just too old to put him on my wall. That's all.
I'll be doing Grace Jones on canvas as well. So we'll get you a Grace Jones.
Go to the website.
I'll check out your work though.
KeturahBenson.com is the website. Just my first and last name. KeturahBenson.com.
Got you.
Love
Pleasure
you.
to meet you, sis.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Right. Oh man, that was Keturah Benson right there.
Keturah.
Yeah.
You know, she's also an audio engineer.
Wow.
She's
Really?
like one of the yes.
She used to work at the Kyber
I know.
upstairs.
Oh, wow.
What's up?
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's give it up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What can't she do?
I know she do lighting, she do set design, like
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
jack of every trade, man. That's what's up, man.
A Jill of every genre.
Jill.
Here we go.
Ooh,
That's not
okay.
right.
I
Here
like
we
what you
go,
did there.
right? I like what you did, Dane, but
I tried.
guys always got to be me.
I tried, man. It's cool. So J-Dog.
What's up, Dame?
Oh.
And just so you know, there's a whole movement called Jason J-Dog. I think I'm not sure if you knew that, but like
Jason,
you know, everybody
as your friend, I will not call you J-Dog.
secretly he loves it though.
I'll be the last bastion pushing against that.
Late adopter.
So you're the dark forces that I'm dealing with on the other side, pulling on the other way. Okay, I see what's happening now. You know what I'm saying, I see what's going on. Damn it, had to be. But J-Dog, I wanted to throw it to you because I know where we're at on the music series.
Yeah, so today we're going to feature another look back at our music series, Tiny Room for Elephants music series. We get, so far, local Philly artists, and we take them into the Roots studio, and we record some live in-studio performances from them. We've got Grammy-nominated audio engineer John Smeltz at the board, and this week was a real special one. We have Suzanne Sheer, and I know she was a favorite both amongst a lot of us, but also from the response of people. She's been a favorite from our audience as well. And Suzanne, for those of you who don't know, Suzanne is a singer-songwriter originally from Pittsburgh and now here in Philly. And she's done some work out there with Wiz Khalifa, collaborating with him, singing some hooks. And now she's here in Philly doing her own solo stuff. I know that she's currently working with a friend of ours, Expo, over at Warehouse on Watts to produce. I know she's had,
and also Low Tits as well.
And Low Tits, nice.
Yeah, for sure.
So she came in and she plays piano, and she did some solo stuff just with herself on piano and her own voice. And I've seen her perform, you know, with some musicians, but like she totally can carry it on her own with the piano. And she doesn't need a lot more than that. You know, her voice is so powerful. And, you know, just before we launch into this, the thing I remember is like the kind of, not shocking, but just like the raw, like honesty of her songs. And a lot of the songs deal with love gone bad, breakups, and just some real honest looks back at at relationships, and she spoke a little bit about it in the interviews that about the music as well, but just about the real honesty of being able to put those feelings and experiences into her music. So yeah, we're gonna watch this first song from, I think this was probably episode 5 of the music series. This was from October, back in the before times. So
BC, before COVID.
Exactly.
Break you can run to. I'll be the girl on your poster. Gonna take something from you. If you come any closer, you must not know anything about me, but I get everything that I want because I fight for it until it's mine, mine, mine. I'm so past my bedtime. I've got you on my mind. Why don't you claim your prize? Come for me. I see it in your eyes. It's perfect how you work it, baby. You work me just right. I'm so down for you. Light slows down for you. So take me in, take it off, take me down. Oh, won't you? You know it's sweet, you know it's soft, and I bet you miss that, don't you? I bet you miss that, don't you? Don't you know? Don't you know? So past my bedtime, I've got you on my mind. Why don't you claim come for me? I see it in your eyes. It's perfect how you work it, baby. You work me just right, right. And I'm so down for you. Light slows down for you.
Woo. Woo.
There we go.
Her voice. You guys know I cry every time.
I saw you singing along, Yaya.
Words. I listen to her.
John, have you heard of Suzanne before?
No, this was my first time, and yeah, I was in between that last tune. I was like, oh man, her voice is like
it's definitely
colorful,
very
powerful.
Like,
word.
it's awesome when you can see somebody just like somebody in their instrument, and that's
Right.
all they really need, you know. So
Yeah.
she's amazing in that way.
Yeah, so you can catch the rest of them on YouTube. That was the first half of that episode, but look for Tiny Room for Elephants on YouTube, and we'll keep bringing you guys segments next time. Yeah.
Well, I'll just jump right in because like time is of the essence, right? And we're on this journey to 146, 147 podcasts. Like,
Yeah,
first of all, geez, like, you know, like, and I'm the kind of guy that, like, you know, I watch, you know, a shitload of like whatever television show or YouTube thing in a short amount of time. So I got my work cut out for me. But like,
yeah.
Well, can you like, and could you take us back to the genesis of like let's do this podcast? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So it's funny. Josh and I have been friends since like 95. You know what I mean? Like we really go back, and we met because we were both MCs in school. And all of the like, we used to have like a huge, I went to Northeast High in Philly, and after school, there would be like these huge ciphers in front of our school every day. You know what I mean? And kids would rap in the hallways, bathrooms, you know, wherever we could do it. And Josh was transferred to our school, and we met, you know, amongst like common friends that we had, and we've been friends ever since. Like really like our 20s, like clubbing, it was me and him, you know what I mean? And like our extended family of homies. And so we just been friends for life, really. And I want to say a few years ago, Josh came to me with the idea of doing a podcast. He's done like some sports talk radio stuff. He's really into podcasting and has been really since before it like kind of blew up. So he was always into this idea, like, yo, me and you, we should do like a weekly podcast. And at the time I had no time to do it. You know what I mean? Like I was working my last like 9-to-5 job. I was also doing freelancing stuff and DJing. I was like, I don't got time to sit with you for an hour. I love you, you know what I mean, with all my heart. I don't have time for that shit. And you know, some things freed up. I didn't have to work my 9-to-5 anymore. So I revisited the idea with him. I was like, yo, let's do a podcast. Let's talk about, you know, music and hip hop. But if you listen to the show, you know, we talk politics, we talk gender, we talk race, we talk everything. You know what I mean? He talks about his family. I talk about, you know, shit that I'm going through. It's really two people who have known each other since they were kids, having, you know, a really like free form conversation every week that touches on, you know, lots of different things.
To be honest, today I listened to the first episode and I listened to the last episode, right?
That first one was rough, wasn't it?
Because I mean, like again, like I'm bringing it back to like our first one was really rough. So I was curious to see what the first one was like, and then what the last one was like. And the first one was rough, but it was also, it felt the same, which was important to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I listened to the last one, and like it was literally like Grandmaster Flash the message, like in the podcast, right? You know what I mean, you guys are talking about healthcare, you're talking about politics, you're talking about, you know what I mean, and it was a good, I don't know, 5 minutes, at least 7-10 minutes, 15 minutes before it even got to anything dealing with music, and I really just appreciated that deep dive. And on the same note, like on some hip hop shit, right? On some real rap shit, like listening to you talk earlier, you were saying how like, you know, how like making beats and rapping got you into digging and finding music. And I would assume that like, you know, there's some correlation with what you're doing now, right? Like even like down to like, you know, the writing is like, it's like the classic story of hip hop. Like these multifaceted people that, you know, whether it was, even though whether it be in the 80s, like, you know what, I was a break dancer and I was a graffiti writer and I did this, like these multifaceted artists. And it's just like, I don't know. I just my mind was working. I just felt like, you know, I had to say that, you know?
No, I'm following you. And I think that I'm a firm believer and like observer of the fact that hip hop culture in its essence is multidisciplinary.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like that whole notion of like the 4 elements, you know, whether or not you agree that's, you know, what makes it up. That idea and coming up in that idea and knowing people like when I met Josh, he was an MC. He also had like a hand with graffiti. I never had a hand, you know what I mean? But I could make beats and I could rap. You know what I mean? It kind of raised a generation and continues to raise young people who experience art in a multifaceted way and experience culture in a dynamic, flowing way. So it's, you know, it's nothing to be able to write for NPR as I do, or make beats or DJ a party. It all feels like the same play that I've been involved in and undertaken since I was a child. It doesn't really feel any different. It's just now I have to like invoice people for stuff. You know what I mean? Whereas before I would just create and then go about my day. Now I have to have some kind of like business attached to it. But it's really spiritually and culturally the same thing.
Yes.
So that's what's up.
Well, I mean, we can go on and on. I just want to say thanks, first of all, for showing out and showing us up with the headphone and mic situation. Like you immediately from the door gave us something to think about. You know what I mean?
I made sure to come with the headphone and the mic and Buffy the Vampire Slayer T-shirt.
Oh, shit,
and to represent on all levels.
That's like the jewel dropped at the end. Like, you know what I mean? If you didn't know, now you know. It's all about discovery, right?
Yeah.
So we appreciate it, and hopefully, you know, we can do this again. And the next time we do this again, like I will have probably listened to every last podcast. Like I'm 2 down, and I got about 145 to go. I mean, how often do they drop? Where can people find it? And where can they find you?
Yeah, we're Serious Rap Shit. My podcast is on the iHeart Media Network. We come out every Tuesday. So it's a new episode every week. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm John, JOHN _Liberator on, you know, all the social medias. I'm on Facebook, but like, you know, who's like really
who's on Facebook?
Who's rocking with Facebook? You know, but yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, and you know, I'm out here.
I'll tell my moms to follow you on Facebook, man.
Exactly. Moms and aunts
Facebook
and uncles.
Let me say though, I'm on Facebook for like 2 reasons, and one, that's to keep my family updated with pictures of my kid, and 2 is to like follow John's like process.
Yeah,
because I feel like all of your research you do like in live like time right on Facebook, and you drop so many playlists, so many articles beyond your own. It's a wealth of information, man. So
that is true. I do try to like brainstorm on Facebook. So yeah, if you want to see me, you know, up at 5 a.m. making playlists of like obscure Far Side songs, then follow me on Facebook. You'll get it.
You want the real shit, go to Facebook.
Can I say one thing before you check out? And I know you want to wrap it up, Dane, but John, I just want to tell you, man, how much I personally appreciate what you're doing, man, because I think in this journalism world, and what we're doing in this mainstream media world, and I know you are a freelancer, so you have some freedom to do what you want to do and be in places you want to play. But in this corporate media world, I think guys like you and guys like me play a huge role in the sense that we give them a vision of what hip hop and the culture really is. You know what I'm saying? And now, granted, I'm not writing stories and doing all of that, but just the fact of being in a Fox News building, I think our presence in these places make them look at us and our culture a different way. You understand what I'm saying? In a way that, like, they are a progressive as opposed to regressive with some of the shit that's out there that usually gets all the shine and usually gets all the attention. So I think there's huge value in what you're doing, man, and being in this space and from a journalistic standpoint, man. And I thank you for that, man.
Thank you, man. And I try to write for us. I try to speak to us and, you know, put things out in the world that, you know, kind of like sparks our own curiosity and interest and joy and all of that. You know what I mean? So I write for myself, but I also write for us as well. So what, you know, whoever will have me and y'all got that bread right, I'll do it, and I'll do, you know what I mean? Like I'll do a good job, and it's something that I try to do, put value into the world.
That's what's up, man. Wish you all the best, man.
Thank y'all so much.
So to wrap it up, man, I just want to say, yo, thank you so much. And like on the real, we just like, we're looking for our necklaces. You know what I'm saying? For our, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, like serious rap shit. We want our necklaces. We want to get, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, our microphones. We get mic, like whatever it is that we get that like now we on and like, you know, we're clicked up. That's what we're looking for, man. So we just gonna put that in the air. You know what I'm saying? I know you gotta talk to your peoples. You know,
we're gonna do it like the rock chain.
Like we looking like, yo, we looking like we just walked across the city to spit for you. And then like you was like, oh, all right, that was dope. So it's next. We gotta go somewhere else together, man. We gotta walk this walk together. So you know what I mean? Thank you so much. And we appreciate you, man.
Thank y'all.
It's been great.
Yeah, thank you, bro. He gonna send us to Junior's and walk to Junior's and get cheesecake now. Yeah, go walk over to Junior's and give me a piece of cheesecake and we'll talk later.
Right. Hell yeah.
Boom.
That's it?
Jason's on vacation. He's not playing us.
Oh, he don't got no keyboard. What the hell, Jason? Where's the music? You're supposed to play us out, Jay.
And Jason plays us out with like on the keys. And he's at, you know, Crystal Lake, and there's no keyboards there.
I love that you keep calling
it. He's in 1983 right now.
Shade Dog at Crystal Lake, right?
You know what I'm saying? Shade Dog in 83 right now. He pulled up in an IROC. You know what I mean? He's got the hair fluffed up. You know.
Oh, and by the way, John, I do appreciate that you put workout on cassette tapes, man.
Yes.
Like that's crazy, dude. I don't know why you do it in the streaming world.
Yeah.
The fact that you print cassette tapes, I don't even know who has a cassette player. I got one over there, but it's like 4 of them on the planet.
You know who has them? Hipsters.
Hipsters. So that's what we do. We sell them vinyl and then we sell them cassettes.
There's a resurgence of cassette going on.
Dude, I got a bin back there of cassette tapes from the 80s and the 90s that I just found in my shed that I forgot I even had, dude.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite cassette?
Oof, like ever?
Ever. Like the one that you bought that you remember to this day, like, yo, I'm glad I bought that cassette.
I remember when I was a kid, I was at Broad and Olney, and I bought a bootleg copy off the stand of Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted.
That's a good one.
Classic fucking record. And it was the first. Before then, I had to get like my mom or my pops to give me money to buy music. But at that point, I had you know, a couple of dollars, and I, you know, went to the bootleg man and bought it. And classic tape.
That's what's up. How about you, Dang?
I mean, that I purchased myself because, like, I mean,
whoever purchased it, like the most
at the time of bootleg, right? Like he's talking about, like you can get everything you wanted for $5 or 3 for 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I think some of the ones that mean the most to me in a way are not like my favorites, but at the same time, like say NWA. The first album, you know what I mean, the first NWA album. Like, the only way I was gonna get that was on a bootleg.
You got it yourself,
You know what I'm saying? And it was $5, and I had to play it low in the crib with my grandma. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, but
y'all was West Coast heavy out here.
But it was also a sense of like kind of how information is now was like, yo, did you see that thing that happened with so-and-so on Instagram recently and shit? Because it was spreading like wildfire. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like you had like kind of had to like hear what these motherfuckers was talking about and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was one of the most impactful like $5 CD purchase. I mean, tape purchases I've ever, like, it was just like, what? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Like, not that they were the greatest, but like, they're doing what? Like, they're saying what? Like, this song is about gangbanging, like all the way through. This is crazy. You know what I mean? So,
I didn't go as hard as y'all, man. I was Granddaddy IU and Nice and Smooth would have been my two most memorable cassette joints that I went and bought, man.
Nice
I got
and
a bunch
Smooth's
of
the
them.
shit though.
Nice and Smooth's first album, Granddaddy IU was those like if those ever came up missing, I was gonna hurt somebody. Like, yo, don't touch them joints, man. You can't borrow those and don't fuck with them.
But yo, I gotta bounce out of here, yo.
All right, go ahead, brother. Appreciate your time.
Thank y'all so
man.
much.
all right.
Yep.
Peace.
Nice.
All right.
I only bought one cassette ever. It was
What's that?
It's dark and hell is hot. I was 9 years old. It was a bootleg from a Berlin Mart. My
It's Dark
father
and
did
Hell
not
is
know
Hot.
what he
Whose
got.
album was that again, man?
DMX.
DMX.
Yeah.
Wow, you still buying cassettes when DMX came out?
I was 9.
Also, a cassette that I wrote that wasn't a bootleg that was impactful was De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising.
That's a classic.
That was kind of
That's
like
a classic.
I used to either buy a cassette or I was double cassette. Or
Yeah, I was doubling them
I
all
was
the time.
also a taper of every song on the radio and shit. But I would also record the songs and I would write the lyrics down too and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like 3 Feet High and Rising is like I wrote the whole album out.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I didn't go that hard with it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? This is the kind of thing you do.
Dude, my cassette game was crazy though. My cassette game was crazy back in the 80s and the 90s, man. Like I pull my box out, you're gonna be like, oh shit, Mike.
Y'all don't even want to get into the
Is that a pause?
all the you don't want to get into
it ain't no pause, man. I'm tired of y'all with that pause shit. Y'all insecure sons of bitches, man. Get over that shit.
When I pull my box out, I don't know, man.
You know what I mean? LL Cool J had a radio, it was his box, man. Ain't nobody have to be like, yo, pause. You talking about your box. Like your box is when you use.
Run DMC did a song called Pause, Mike. What are you talking about?
But they also had Rock Box, too.
Run DMC did a song called Pause, Mike.
They also had Rock Box, too, right?
So
Then
they started it. Your old head started that shit. How about that? Your old head started it. You
yeah, Jason, I ain't listening to it no more, Jason.
Run DMC started.
What was you saying,
was a
Jason?
dance too. They had a dance that went with it.
Listen, man. What was you saying, Jason?
I was just gonna say I don't think any of you would know any of the Christian contemporary music that I bought on cassette. You guys want to talk about?
Give me some titles.
Oh, give me something. Give me something to look up.
Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Okay.
DC Talk, which was like
I knew DC Talk,
the Christian hip hop group.
Yes, I knew DC Talk.
Yeah, man, I don't even want to think back to those days.
Dude, it was listen, man. Some of that Christian stuff was dope, man. Like who was the
really?
The Spread Love Cats. Who was the Spread Love Cats? It was gospel. The harmonizers, this is Spread Love.
Take Six.
Take Six.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Take Six is classic.
That might have been a little too hip for me though.
My first introduction to that was on a Ron G mixtape. Spread Love. That's the first time I heard that song. You know what I mean? So some of that stuff was all right, man. Just not all of it. Just not all of it.
Bro. You're walking on.
Not all of it.
They probably wouldn't let you listen to Take Six. That was probably sacrilegious. Those are the Christian guys that nobody wanted to recognize.
Yeah, that's a little worldly, you know.
Yeah, that was a little too edgy. That was a little too edgy for y'all. But yeah,
all
man,
right.
Cassette dude, man. All right, y'all. Always a pleasure, man.
I'm growing the beard till we get a vaccine.
Nice.
Yeah, right. I'm with you.
I don't know how
Fauci
that helps, but you know,
it's principle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fauci says we should see it by Thanksgiving, man.
I started growing up my beard in November. I tried to grow it for a month to see how long I can get for a photo shoot, and then I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna keep it because we're supposed to go to Paris. I'm like, I'm gonna keep it to the festival because then we're going right to Paris, and then obviously all that shit did not happen, and now I'm like, I just got this beard and shit, man. It's like, you know what I mean?
Quarantine look.
Also, I'm not going back to a barbershop until like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I can't go back to the barbershop right now.
It's crazy. One of my friends that I've grown up with, I've known this cat since our parents were friends. So growing up. So I've known him literally all my life. And like smack dab in the middle of the quarantine, we're like texting or whatever. I'm like, yeah, you know, what are y'all getting into? And he's like, yeah, my barber's been opening up the shop, you know, like 7 a.m. and sneaking people in. So I'm about to go get a shape up. I'm like, dog, you got 4 kids.
So my barber cut my hair and also cuts Yaya hair, right? And like middle of quarantine, he's like texting like, and he been cutting my hair since the 10th grade. You know what I'm saying? So like he's texting like, yo, y'all good? And it's like obviously not, but like, you know,
he was already questionable pre-quarantine. Like,
right.
You know, put the apron on you and it's covered in someone else's hair. And you know, pre-COVID, you let it
ride.
Part of the barbershop. Now it's like, ooh, I'm not convinced.
I went 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, man. First of all, I told him to just shake me up. He took off all my hair. I was like, dude, it's been that fucking long. I said, just shake me up, dude. I got up out of the chair. I was like, yo, where the hell all my hair go, man?
Wow.
Like my wife was pissed. She was like, yo, don't ever go back to him again. Like, but then it was just uncomfortable. I was like, yo, I ain't had no mask on. He's like, I can't shake you up with the mask on. I was like, dude, I'll be back after we get a vaccine, man. I'm just gonna have to let it go.
Hair. I'm saving like, you know what I mean, at least $150 a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, haircuts are crazy, man.
Yeah, what happens to barbershops after we all learn to cut each other's hair?
Jay?
I know.
Like somebody just got escorted past you being held by the hair over there, Jay. What the hell is going on behind you?
I am not
told you it was Crystal Lake, man.
Like somebody's on their way to timeout.
Oh man.
He's like, I'm not Jay anymore. I'm J Dog.
Very likely.
J Dog live from Crystal Lake.
No?
All right. You guys want to kick this off?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Do it.
All right, Dame. When you're ready.
You're just going to drop it in, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Oh. This is episode 7. I feel good. We've been on a good run. And this one feels like we should be hitting our stride right about now.
Don't jinx us.
And come on, man. Like, let me talk positive stuff right now, man.